surprised when you get attacked. You know all the freedom they took from you when you get them back. When in fact they were never yours to begin with. This is a prison planet, you're serving a life sentence. Into prison at 092-881. No particular kid of interest, nobody's great son. So we entered the system, revolving door on day one. Comes out our minutes, the armed forces gave a gun. Sent them to war without warning them. The images he stored from their norm would now torture them. Brought his hyper-awareness back to the rear. A soldier who still feels active, missing half of his gear. Blood money to trade for his education, so he can learn to describe a state in one single equation. His idol Carl Sagan, his outlet hip-hop. He wants to be a physicist, he wants to wreck shop. Sitting at the pawn shop watching the clock stuck. Technically a free man, but still feels locked up. As a result of social conditioning, he actually has something to say, but no one is listening. You should never be surprised when you get attacked. You know all the freedoms they took from you when you.
All right.
In fact, they were never yours to begin with. This is a prison planet. You're serving a life sentence.
We are live here tonight. Welcome to the Truth Radio, Controversial Truth Radio, with your host, Tyranny Unmasked. And tonight, I'm going to be doing this thing alone. I'm going to be tearing down this meeting the best way I know how. And we're just going to get this done. All right. One moment, folks. Just letting people get in here. All right. I'm currently turning on my screen share for you guys because I got some stuff to show you. All right. Which screen are we looking at here? Okay. And you should be able to see my screen now. All right. So, what we have here is the Bilderberg meeting 2016. And it's located in Dresden, Germany, from 9th of June to 12th of June. But the first thing I notice is the location, Dresden. And if you're an avid lover of history or someone that loves to research history as I do, as I have always done, Dresden is one of the largest sources of controversy surrounding World War II. Dresden was bombed towards the end of World War II, and it had absolutely no military significance whatsoever. Nothing. There was honestly no legitimate, viable reason to bomb this location, but in 1995, it was bombed by over 1,000 bombers and escort fighters of the British Royal Air Force and the United States Army's Air Force there, with over or around 4,000 tons, according to look here at what's it called here? Wikipedia. Well, Wikipedia, you know that. But around 4,000 tons, or close to 700,000 ordnance of incendiaries and explosives. That literally turned the entire city into a giant vortex of burning flames that took it down to the ground. I mean, you could just see some of these pictures here of Dresden, the Post. Like afterwards, there's a couple of pictures here, but there's a better clip here that I found of actual footage of the city being bombed. And keep in mind, this is where Bilderberg is being held. In my opinion, I think it's a significant something to look at. But before I play the clip, keep in mind, thousands and thousands of people died. It's at least 225,000, but it's been claimed as high as 500,000. That's a current controversy in between there. And some people believe it's higher. I think it's higher after when you see this footage. The entire town is literally a giant flame ball of incendiaries just being dropped. And even admittedly to the generals that had this operation, that was their intent. They wanted to drop and create these giant flames to kill as many as possible. They wanted to inflict the most damage. And they wanted to conjoin these fires to where they fed each other. So they kept getting larger and larger and larger, basically just to kill off as many people as possible. But the population of that city was 600,000, but it was swollen towards the end of the war because of all the refugees from the war and the Soviet Union on one side, and then you have all the bombings by the Allies on the other side, and it forced so many people into that town that the population at that time was over 1 million people. Can you imagine 1 million people concentrated into one small, or it's not small, but one town, one city, and then you drop incendiary explosives all over the town. They had 3 runs of air, or 3, at least 3. I can't remember now, even though I have the internet here. They had runs, bombings that lasted all day. And that's over 1,000 aircraft dropping bombs on one city. And you have to think that at least 100,000 or more died. I mean, according to eyewitness reports, people were melting, literally melting into pools because of the heat. The heat was over 1,600 degrees in the very center. That is like astounding. And if you want to look into that, I mean, that's there, and it's just something to look into. I mean, it's crazy. But this is where the Bilderberg meeting is. It's significant to me. Dresden. It's like a slap into the face. Oh, something's playing here. Oh, something's playing. All right, let me get back to where I was. But yeah, Dresden. Where was I? Here we go. Yeah, it's in Dresden. But here we go. Let's take a look at some of the people that are actually going to be participating at the Bilderberg meeting itself. I mean, they give us this nice list. I mean, this isn't going to cover everybody, but this is their official list that they give to the media, the press, the few that actually cover it, and they'll just write one little back page article for it. Just so they can say, oh no, we didn't avoid the press, even though they have thousands of guards around Bilderberg every year that you pay for. I mean, it's going to be the German police. I mean, it's happening right now. There's thousands of police around the city. Last year, when it was in the Alps, there was thousands of armed guards around the place. You can see videos of that all over the place. But yeah, here's just some of the people that they're admitting that are there. The first one that popped out to me, which is like, what? Why is this guy here? Was let me see here, Chris Hadfield, and here he is, somewhere here. Yeah, Hadfield, and he's a Canadian astronaut. And what stuck out to me is how popular this guy is around the world. I mean, he's a role model to so many people. I mean, and to think he is a Bilderberger. I mean, this is like a younger generation. I keep up with social media all the time. I mean, it's just part of this type of work. You have to keep up what's being pushed. And this guy is spread and looked at highly. So, I mean, they'll take anybody in here. And he has some ties there. But somebody that's been, I'm pretty sure has been there before, is where's his face? Someone that I've picked at on this channel before. Somewhere here. Yeah, Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham. This man is something else. I mean, he is one of the biggest warmongers right now that's in the U.S. political system. I mean, he's the one that was advocating like every chance he can. We need to go over there and bomb the Middle East. I mean, he's probably the one. He would probably advocate for making a giant swimming pool out of the Middle East. I mean, and he's a Bilderberger, so he's a part of this whole agenda that they have going on, knowing what's going on around the world. I mean, there's over 20 countries in attendance there. Another one was let me see, yeah, Ben von Burden. He's on this list. Ben, where are you, Ben? He should be right here. Yeah, Ben. No, that ain't him. Somewhere here. There it is. Yeah, Ben von Burden. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's the CEO of Royal Dutch Shell. And as you all know, this is the first thing that comes to my mind when I'm thinking about this, is the oil disaster in around, what was that, 2007, 2008. But it was so devastating to the ecosystem and people's livelihoods. I mean, it was knocking out all the local fishermen's fishing supply. I mean, the supplies of fish in the area. I mean, you're driving all that away around Louisiana and where it was actually going down. And I mean, this was devastating. Millions and millions and millions of dollars of damage. I mean, you can still find that stuff there today. I mean, residue of what it cost. But essentially, they got off scot-free. And it's not a surprise that you see somebody like this at a Bilderberg meeting. Because whoever, if you're part of Bilderberg, you're essentially untouchable in the national governmental system, the New World Order, essentially. But yeah, just another untouchable. They sell themselves out and become a Bilderberger or any secret society you can think of. They got your back. Okay, so the next one in everybody's favorite is Henry Kissinger. I mean, we don't even have to look on this list, but I'm going to point him out here. Henry Kissinger. And I don't know where to start on this guy. I mean, he was like the biggest proprietor when he was the Secretary of State for the Vietnam War. He pushed that left, front, and center, which caused the millions of pointless deaths. Millions. And I'm not a Bernie supporter. I'm not a supporter of anybody politically, because I think they're all controlled anyway. It's a big puppet show. If you haven't figured that out yet, then you just need to look at it more. This is pretty much the decider of who is in control. I mean, it goes down at meetings like this, the Bilderberg meeting, and other meetings we probably will never hear about. But Henry Kissinger, he was one of the largest proprietors of the Vietnam War. And what Bernie Sanders had in one of his speeches against Hillary was that, how could Hillary support a man like this? She's supposedly against war and against the pointless wars in the Middle East, which we'll get to that in a minute, about her little bag talks and how she's double speeching herself all the time. But he calls her out on it, and he says, I would never support Henry Kissinger. Well, and I have to applaud him for that. But I mean, it doesn't matter now, because he got knocked out of the race anyway. Because, you know, Hillary Clinton, Henry Kissinger himself had applauded Hillary Clinton and had told her that she was one of the best Secretary of State ever, even better than him. Imagine that, a guy, Henry Kissinger, who's responsible for all kinds of war crimes, and like in Cambodia and other places, different massacres around the world that he supports and persuades the public through his political reasonings. But yeah, and Hillary Clinton admired his support, according to herself here. Here, let me make sure you guys can hear it. I'm gonna turn it up. Oh, where is this? Trying to open up Google Hangouts so I can see it. Well, I can't see it. Hopefully it's still playing. But anyway, let me turn this up a little bit.
I have had the opportunity to run a big agency. I was very flattered when Henry Kissinger said, "I ran the State Department better than anybody had run it
in the behind-the-scenes formation of this trade deal has been of real interest."
I don't know why that kept starting, but anyway, she admired his support. So she's a supporter of Henry Kissinger, which is a mass murderer through indirect actions that he has had on the U.S. political system, who is not an official. He's not even he's not an American-born citizen, and that's why he didn't ever run for, or he's not an American citizen. That's why he never ran for a higher office.
A long time. I have had the flattered when Henry Kissinger said, "I ran the State Department better than anybody had run it in a long time."
Okay, yeah, that's the quote there. She ran it better than anybody has in a long time. Hilarious. But one thing that James Corbett had pointed out in his video, his newest video, Bilderberg 2016, is that there was a meeting in 2008 where Barack Obama had basically just faked out the entire news, like the entire mainstream media, like faked them out, and they all got stuck in an airport when they were trying to follow him. And he went to the Bilderberg meeting, or in the same town where the Bilderberg meeting was, right down the road from the airport, and had a secret backdoor meeting with Hillary Clinton. And who do you that's probably when they actually decided. I'll just let you listen to the video here, or just this portion of the video.
Again, a lot of these names have significance. On the Clinton note, of course, let's never forget that 2008's Bilderberg featured, of course, the secret meeting of Obama and Clinton at Bilderberg, where, of course, it was decided that, hey, Obama's going to take it this time. Hillary, you can wait till 2016. And that's exactly how it's played out. And this was even well covered in the mainstream media, as the press that was following these players around on the campaign trail were mystified why the Obama campaign locked their press reporters up in the plane and started taxiing out, and then announced, oh, by the way, Obama's not on the plane. He's attending a secret meeting in Washington with Hillary Clinton. And people wanted to know, where did they go? Exactly as Bilderberg 2008 was taking place down the street from the airport where the reporters were taking off.
The Associated Press has learned that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton have met face-to-face. The closed-door meeting comes just days after Obama clinched the Democratic nomination, and just one day after Hillary Clinton's campaign announced she's planning to drop out of the presidential race. Campaign aides for both candidates say the meeting was about unity. Initially, it was believed that the secret meeting took place at Clinton's Washington, D.C. home. Obama's spokesman denied that, but won't confirm where the former rivals met.
Robert, why were we not told about this meeting and that the senator wouldn't be on our flight until the doors were shut and we were about to taxi to take off?
We had a desire.
Again, they were choosing Obama as the president and was telling her that she was going to be the next president.
That's what we're doing.
We witnessed, etc., etc. So yes, interesting. Going back to the participant list.
Okay, yeah. So if you want to watch his video, the rest of his videos there, and it's a really, really good video. James Corbett report. But I mean, essentially, what that's getting at is that they choose the Bilderberg meetings as a place where they come together and decide who's going to be the next leader of the free world. And that just so happened to be Barack Hussein Obama in 2008. And that meeting was probably them getting together. And it's like, oh, Hillary, you did a good campaign. Next year, next 4 years, you're going to be the president. And it's starting to look that way. I mean, with such a horrible record that she has, especially with her decisions in the United States wars, I can't believe that she's even made it this far. I mean, it shouldn't happen if you know how to research or use the internet. But yeah, so let's take a look at some of her amazing record here. Let's look at how great she is. First, one thing that I noticed was that in her email thing here, one of the emails with the TTP, someone had filed a what is it called? I totally forget what it. Freedom of Information. That's what they did. They filed a Freedom of Information Act towards her to hear her email, what she said about the TTP and some of her emails. And here's the video on that.
Clinton's role,
I kept wanting to play,
or lack thereof, in the behind-the-scenes formation of this trade deal has been of real interest. Almost a year ago, last July, the senior editor for investigations at the International Business Times, David Sirota, filed a Freedom of Information Act request with the State Department for then Secretary Clinton's correspondence related to the Pacific trade deal. Now, this is certainly in the public interest. Sanders is not the only Clinton opponent of the trade deal. So is Donald Trump. He's also critical of the trade deal. Last November, State Department official Charlotte Duckett estimated that Sirota's request would be completed by April of this year. That did not happen, however. And today, Sirota announced that the State Department has told him that his request will not be completed until the end of November, after the presidential election. Now, the average Freedom of Information Act request made of the State Department takes 111 days to process.
111 days.
Sirota says this one, according to his calculation, will take 489 days. So this means that you, as a voter, will not have information that you might want about Hillary Clinton and an important substantive.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what she does with her, with all the emails and stuff. It'll just take like 2 years or something. No, it'll be fine. Oh, I mean, it's crazy. And here's a portion. I know you don't like hearing her talk, but for those, I'm just trying to make a point here. I'm gonna let this about a minute portion of her speech play, and I'm about to rip this speech up. I'm gonna let it play here.
We Democrats agree on defending all of our rights, civil rights and voting rights, workers' rights and women's rights.
First, I'm going to stop here. And she said she cares about all rights. Well, I mean, you know that she does not support the Second Amendment. I mean, that's a given there. She does not care about the right, which is a right, an inalienable right to arm yourself against tyrannical governments. She doesn't believe in that. And there's a video you can go watch. I'm not going to play it because it's basically just Hillary Clinton gibber, like getting around the question. The entire thing is 2 minutes and 41 seconds of that. But she does not even agree that the right to bear arms is a right. She just can't say, yes, that's a right. She can't have that coming out of her mouth. And it's a pretty funny video if you go watch that. But I'm not going to play that whole thing there. And let's let it play a little bit more, her speech.
LGBT rights and rights.
LGBT rights. Yeah, okay. She supports LGBT rights, which I mean is gays, lesbians, and the whole 9 yards. And one of these, let me see, here we go. Yeah. I mean, right here, she like lies straight up on that one.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman.
I do not support gay marriage. LGBT Americans are our colleagues, our teachers, our soldiers, our friends, our loved ones.
Okay. Yeah, she had a change of heart, didn't she? No, she doesn't. She doesn't give a shit what you like. She doesn't care if you're gay or whatever. She's just a lying scumbag that just tries to make yourself sound good. I mean, come on now. Let's continue here though, for the sake of the situation. What she had said there was civil rights and rights for people with disabilities. Civil rights. And I mean, I'm not going to get into that one. In the 90s, she was one of the biggest proponents for a law that was something against something like super predators. You can look that one up, super predators, which it was essentially referring to as black criminals. I mean, so, I mean, if that's not racist, I don't I mean, okay, let's continue. All right.
this election, we will have to stand together and work hard to prevail against candidates on the other side who would threaten all those rights and pit Americans against each other.
Like
They
you don't.
would make it harder to vote, not easier.
Okay, this is another one I don't have a video up for, but making it harder to vote. Just look up voter suppression of Bernie Sanders. I mean, it's crazy. And look up super delegates. Look that up. Super delegate. I don't have like a large time frame to get into that. Look up voter suppression and super delegates, and then come back and tell me this is not trying to separate the voters. And I mean, it's crazy. Making it harder to vote is what she said.
They would deny women the right to make our own reproductive health care decisions. They would round up millions of hardworking immigrants and deport them. They would demonize and discriminate against hardworking, terror-hating Muslim Americans.
Like your support of the Iraq war wasn't like that.
Who we need in the fight against radicalization. And both of the top candidates in the Republican Party deny climate change even exists.
Well, I mean, maybe if you actually look at the evidence given, there's a liable reason why they don't believe that climate change is actually based off of man-made actions. And another thing is that the largest supporters, the largest producers of pollution and things in the air is the government. Just to let you know, that's just a quick fact. So making it bigger and making more laws for it, giving more power to the government isn't going to solve it, even if climate change is a 100% fact, as they try to say it is. But making the government bigger isn't going to help that. I mean, making a government smaller makes your output smaller. And I mean, it's just not going to work. Oh, yeah.
Now, the other day, Mr. Trump accused me of playing the, quote, woman card. Well, if fighting for women's health care and paid
shut up, Hillary. Yeah, she played the woman card. Yes, she very certainly did play the woman card. You can see it every time
We
here.
haven't had a woman to be president yet, so we need to have a woman to be president. Being a woman running for president. I mean, the first woman president.
Be a woman president of the United States of America.
Ooh, loud.
If you vote for somebody on the merits, one of my merits is I'm a woman.
Why should Democrats embrace an insider like yourself?
Well, I can't think of anything more of an outsider than electing the first woman president. I cannot imagine anyone being more of an outsider than the first woman president.
Who can be more of an outsider than a woman president? Honestly, Senator Sanders is the only person who I think would characterize me, a woman running to be the first woman president, as exemplifying the establishment. And I've got to tell you that...
Yeah, she's not playing the woman card.
I think being the first woman president would be quite a change. The way I look at it is I would be the youngest woman ever elected. That is I will be the youngest woman.
She will be, as she said.
Trump.
She already knew. I mean, she was already chosen. I mean, come on now. She acts surprised. She said it right there. I will be. I mean, come on. But another thing she had mentioned was workers' rights. Yeah, workers' rights. And this right here does not sound like the support of workers' rights to me.
I'm the only candidate which has a policy about how to bring economic opportunity using clean, renewable energy as the key into coal country. Because we're going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business. Right, Tim? And
we're going to put a lot of coal miners out of business. And then she goes on to say, oh, well, we can't forget about them. Well, putting them out of business. You act like someone can learn a new profession overnight. I mean, come on now. That's not workers' rights. I mean, if you see it as the coal business as a legitimate threat to the world, I mean, you have to be smart about it and work it out slowly. I mean, you just can't ruin someone's entire livelihood and then create that much of a burden on your society because these people don't have work. I mean, that's what the majority of them do. And I mean, in this video, it goes on to say there was a coal miner that actually confronted her about it, and she didn't know what to say. You can watch that video. I'm going to make sure I put everything in a description for you if you're not watching this live. But I mean, worker, yeah, he's like supporting workers' rights. And then, yeah, we're going to.
Coal country, because we're going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business.
I mean, coal and oil is where I'm raised. I'm raised in Texas. In Texas, I mean, that is like, I mean, you can't get a job that's not related to coal or industry here unless you're vast, like a doctor or something. You have another profession. That, I mean, we're suffering from it now here. I mean, the unemployment is getting ridiculous here in the city that I live in. It's personal. It affects me. It affects my family. So bringing someone like this, Hillary Clinton, in this, it's just devastating. It just can't happen. I mean, it's going to happen. It's been chosen. But I mean, for anybody that's supporting this woman and you say, oh, she's not that bad. I mean, just use the internet, for God's sake. And I love how, let me think, is it still, yeah, I think somewhere in this, no, it's not this video.
Clinton's.
Where was that video of her jabbering on? Here it is. No, it isn't. The full speech, yeah. I think she goes on to say something about how she's against the wars overseas. Let's hear that.
And equal pay is playing the woman hard, then deal me in.
Or actually, I think that was before. But I mean, she claims to be anti-war. And I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, there's a speech of her. A speech of her saying that she's voting for the Iraq war. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Sectors left. Intelligence reports show that Saddam Hussein has worked to rebuild his chemical and biological weapons stock, his missile delivery capability, and his nuclear program.
We still never have found any of those weapons of mass destruction. Where were they? All these different things they tried to say. And I mean, even the supposed people that he gassed, I mean, that's questionable in itself if he actually even did that.
He has also given aid, comfort, and sanctuary to terrorists, including Al-Qaeda members. It is clear how
Al-Qaeda members who we are now working against in the fight against ISIS, which is also former members of Al-Qaeda are a part of it, were the ones that created ISIS, huh?
However, that if left unchecked, Saddam Hussein will continue to increase his capacity to wage biological and chemical warfare and will keep trying to develop nuclear weapons. Should he succeed in that endeavor, he could alter the political and security landscape of the Middle East.
Yeah.
Which, as we know all too well,
like the United States wasn't doing. I mean, she's been involved. I mean, Hillary Clinton has been involved in almost every major U.S. conflict since the 90s. I mean, she's involved in the Gulf War. She's involved in the intervention in Haiti. She's, you know, the video of her saying, we were getting shot at by sniper fire. And then the actual video just shows her just kindly like shaking everybody's hands. I mean, she was involved in, I mean, she's a lying scumbag. I mean, she was involved in the war in Afghanistan and the Iraq war, like right here. She's voting for it. And Libya, I mean, oh my God, don't even get me started with Libya, this woman. I mean, there's a video of her laughing. I think I have it somewhere here. Where is this thing? But there's a video here. Hillary Clinton, I want to see it, where she's laughing at the death of Muammar Gaddafi. There we go. Let's get this up. And she was the reason. She's like one of the main reasons why we were even having conflict. She was one of the biggest pushers. She was the Secretary of State. So this responsibility falls under her hands. Muammar Gaddafi was actually loved by his people. There's a on Contru.com. There's a link in the description, not to the actual video, but you can go to that and you can look up by categories the Middle East, and it tells you all about it, all about Muammar Gaddafi, how he was improving the country, created water sources for the country, created a debt-free banking system for the country. They were debt-free, one of the only debt-free countries that wasn't solely reliant on oil in that country. I mean, it was basically the paradise in the Middle East. It was one of the nicest countries ever. And we devastated it because people like Hillary Clinton killing thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent people that had no problem with their government. I mean, the overall consensus. I mean, yes, it was a dictatorship, but you can't force something onto somebody and put in your own puppet regimes. Here's her laughing at his death like it was nothing. I mean, least.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died. Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
I mean, she's literally cold-hearted. I mean, that's why she's #1 pick from the Bilderberg. I mean, it's literally in your face. Hey, everybody's watching here. I'm really glad you guys came out and watched this, but I'm kind of going over on time because Hillary Clinton gets my blood boiling here. But I'm gonna have to wrap this up real soon here. And I'm doing this by myself, so I'm going to burn myself out on material here anyway. But I appreciate you guys coming out. Check out Contru.com. Check out our site. You can support me if you want to support me. I try to make videos every time I can. It's been difficult because of life reasons here lately. But I mean, screw life. I want to point out evil when it needs to be pointed out. But this was Tyranny Unmasked, guys, with the Controversial Truth Radio, and I really appreciate you guys coming out. And let's see here. And if you want to check out any more of our videos, there's other podcasts from the last few that we had. They're going to be, I think there should be popping up right there on the side if you can't see them. But you can check it out on my YouTube channel. So, yeah, guys, I appreciate you coming out, and peace.